Hi folks, and welcome back to Meaningful Money. Okay, I'm still here outside St Buryan in my sort of just get a video up on the site quickly spot. So it's not particularly interesting, but it's quick and easily accessible from home. The village of St Buryan is where I live. It's a beautiful village. There's much better views actually in that direction, but the sun, should it choose to come out, is in that direction, so you wouldn't see anything. You'd just get a whole load of lens flare. So never mind, production values and all that. We're carrying on our sort of at retirement walkthrough. We talked about the risks you need to consider last time, and today we're moving on to the second of our sort of 5 factors you need to consider when you are choosing the form that the income you're going to take in retirement will take. As ever, before we get into the meat, I must thank my good friends down here in the bottom right hand corner. That's Seven Investment Management. Here they are, look. They sponsor the show and I'm very grateful to them for doing so. They're good friends, so I appreciate it very much, chaps. Right, we need to look at the income, the choices you have about the form your income is going to take. Which of these you prefer or don't like the sound of will affect your choices, okay? And your advisor needs to be asking you about these things. So the purpose of this, remember, is to walk you through the sort of discussions that I would have with my clients when they come to the point of taking income from their pensions. And so your advisor should be talking to you about the same things. So, you need to consider which of these is best for you. It might not be just one, but maybe a couple of options. But I imagine there'll be some of them which fill you with fear and dread. So, hopefully by explaining the options to you, you'll be able to sort of focus your thinking a little bit. You have 5 possibilities, primarily, for the form your income will take. So the first one of those is a level income. So that is where you set the amount of your income today, usually by buying an annuity. I'll come back to all that in due course, but you set the amount of your income today and it never changes. It goes not up and it does not go down. The not going down bit sounds attractive, but the fact that it doesn't go up means that you are exposed to inflation. It means that your 500 quid a month that you choose to take now will be worth significantly less than that in real spending terms 5, 10, 20 years from now. Bear in mind that if you're 65, chances are you've got 20 years left at least of living to do, with lots of time on your hands to kill and time to spend that money. So, a level income can be significantly eroded over a 10 or 20 year period by inflation. So if that worries you, then that you perhaps need to opt for the second of your 2 options, which is an increasing income. Now, normally I sort of phrase this question, would you like an income which stays the same or one that goes up every year? Now, if you frame the question like that, people say, well, I'll have one that goes up every year. But then I'll usually say, well, what if the one that goes up every year starts 1/3 lower than the level one? And usually then they balk and say something like, well, I'll have the higher income now while I can enjoy it. No good having an increasing income where, I can't enjoy it because I'm too old to enjoy it or whatever. So that's the sort of conversation which often happens. So if you choose an increasing income, you will protect yourself against inflation to a degree, but the income itself will begin about 1/3 lower. Now, because that's the case, you've got a bit of an issue here. So I'm going to stick a bit of a graphic in, not quite sure how. I shall stay put and work around me. See, if you have a level income, it stays the same throughout time. If you opt for an increasing income, it starts a little bit lower, but then goes up by a set amount every year. But what you have to understand is that for the first few years, you're being paid less every month or every year in the increasing income. And it takes quite a while for the 2 annuities to end up paying the same every month. So, how long? Difficult to say exactly. It depends on the increasing factor. But if you opt for an annuity increasing by 3% a year, it's going to take you about 12 to 13 years for your payments to be the same under an increasing annuity than it does under a level annuity. But of course, you've been underpaid for that whole time. So it actually takes quite a while longer for you to be in a break-even position. And again, at a 3% increase, it's about 18, 19 years. So for the first 18, 19 years, you will be worse off under an indexed annuity, but that doesn't, again, take into account inflation. So actually, it's probably less than that when you take the effects of inflation into account. So one of the ways you can perhaps answer this question is you need to perhaps consider what other income sources you have. You'll probably get your old age pension from the government. That is index linked. It will go up with inflation. Maybe you've got a company pension, which you had, when you used to work for BT or whatever, and perhaps that will go up with inflation. So if you've got private pension pots and you're wondering what to do, you need to think always in the context of your whole pension provision. So anyway, rattled on a little bit too long about that. That's sort of increasing income. So we've dealt with level and increasing. Your three other options are, thirdly, investment linked income, which simply means that the income you take can increase or decrease depending on what stock markets do. Now, you might like the sound of that because there's an option of an increased income, but you may not like the sound of the fact that your income could decrease if markets move against you. So that's something to be very aware of. What normally happens is that you set an anticipated growth rate, and if the markets or the funds that you're invested in do better than that, then your income will increase. If they do worse than that, then your income will decrease. So it can either go up or down. Are you happy with that? Fourthly, the income, you can opt for a system called income drawdown, where you can set your own level of income within a minimum and a maximum, but you can change it year on year to suit your needs. This is particularly useful for wealthier people who have bigger funds. For instance, I'm talking to a client at the moment who is possibly going to make a capital gain, and so what we're going to do is we're going to turn the income off from his drawdown plan for a year so that he pays less capital gains tax. Won't go into why that works, but the flexibility of that income, the ability to increase or decrease it, is very powerful in some cases. So you may like that ability. Talk to your advisor about that. And then fifthly, you've got an option of a fixed term income. So this is an income which you set now, and you set it for the next so many years, perhaps to age 75. And then at 75, the annuity that you pick pays you out a lump sum, and you can choose another annuity. It's like a second bite at the cherry. I'll come back to the sort of detail on that in due course, but the possibility to choose your income now for the first half, if you like, of your retirement is pretty powerful, and then you get the choice to, the chance to make another choice later on when maybe your circumstances will have changed. Perhaps you'll be poorly and benefit from increased terms on your annuity because of ill health, or maybe you'll have outlived your spouse then, and so that might change the terms of your annuity. All things to think about. So 5 kinds of income: level income, increasing income, investment linked income, which can go up and down, variable income, where you can choose the level of your income on a year-on-year basis, and fixed term income, where you set your income for a fixed period and then you choose again. Lots of options, told you. Some of these will float your boat and some will actively turn you off. You need to talk to your advisor about this. Now, I've mentioned very briefly some products, but the products come second or last, really. You need to choose what form you would like your income to take. Your advisor will pick the product which fits that, or I'll come into more detail on those, and you can perhaps advise yourself in due course. First, determine the priorities that you have regarding the form you want your income to take, and then find the product to match. Next time, we're talking about death benefits. So from St Buryan here, where it's getting cloudier by the minute, and I'm probably going to get rained on. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.